Good morning, students. This is my lecture number 2 for poem number 2 for class 11th, subject English, and the poem title is The Laburnum Top, composed by Ted Hughes. This poem is taken from your main course book, Hornbill. Children, in lecture number 1 of this poem, I explained the complete poem to you along with its introduction and all the literary devices used by the poet in the poem. In this lecture, we will recapitulate the poem taught in lecture number 1 and then we will proceed further with the question answers given in your book of this poem. So let's begin with the poem. The poem The Laburnum Top is about a repaying relationship between the laburnum tree and the goldfinch. You must know what is the laburnum top or the tree. Laburnum is a short tree with hanging branches, yellow flowers and poisonous seeds. And goldfinch is a small singing bird with yellow feathers on its wings. The poet describes this laburnum tree is yellow, silent and death-like and is made alive by the bird, that is goldfinch, and her young ones. And as the bird leaves to fly in the sky, the tree becomes again silent and death-like. So children, the poet Ted Hughes tells about the laburnum top, which shows a repaying relationship between the tree and the goldfinch bird. And it describes that the tree is yellow and becomes alive with the presence of this bird goldfinch because the yellow bird has her shelter on this tree where she feeds her young ones here. But as soon as the bird leaves to fly in the sky, the tree again becomes silent and it appears as if it is dead. The laburnum top is silent, quite still, in the afternoon yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. In these 3 lines, the poet Ted Hughes says that he saw a laburnum tree whose leaves were yellow and he found the top of this short tree with hanging branches, yellow flowers and poisonous seeds was silent and was appearing quite still. There was no movement noticed by the poet, as he says it was the time in the afternoon in the month of September. As it is autumn season, so all the seeds of this laburnum tree had fallen down. The poet has used this word yellow for leaves and sunlight here. Yellow symbolizes silence, death and beauty. Ted Hughes tells that a goldfinch bird comes to the end of this death-like tree and makes a sudden chirrup sound by sitting at the end of its branch. The goldfinch comes silently and sits at the end of one of its branch and produces a sound, chirrup sound. The bird, while being rapid, alert and precautious like a lizard, sits on the branches of this tree. Here the poet compares the movement of the bird with lizard. There is a comparison shown that the poet tells that goldfinch becomes sleek as a lizard, means it tries to shrink itself up to the size of the lizard that no one must notice the presence of this bird onto this tree, and sits silently in order to observe whether anybody is noticing its presence onto the tree or not. Then, as the goldfinch moved towards the thickness of the branch, because there are young ones of this bird kept safely into the thickness of the tree, the bird sits silently at the end of the branch to notice whether anybody else is noticing the presence of this bird on the tree. When she gets assured that her presence is not noticed by anybody else, she moves towards the thickness of the branch to meet her young ones. As soon as this bird enters the thickness of the branch, her young ones start chirping and doing vibrations with wings. They start tremoring their wings because they get excited to see their mother with them. These young ones recognize their mother very well. They get excited and they start moving their wings. They start tremoring their wings with excitement of seeing their mother in the thickness of the tree. And it appears to the poet as if there is a machine that has started sounding into the thick branch of this laburnum tree. By the time the tree was silent, still, no movement was noticed by the poet. And when this goldfinch comes and enters to see the young ones which were kept safe by her in the thickness of the tree, the poet notices as if the life has come back to this tree and the tremors of wings has started vibrating the whole tree in such a manner. It appears as if a machine has started inside of the thickness of this tree, and the tree which was appearing dead has become alive again. Because of this movement of the bird and her young ones, the tree is shaking and thrilling. That makes the poet feel as if the gone life of the tree has come back to its branches and the thickness due to the presence of this bird, goldfinch. It is the engine of her family. It refers to the laburnum tree and her family. Her means the goldfinch. It is the engine of her family. She stalks it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. These are the beautiful lines the poet writes. He says, this laburnum tree is the engine of her family. Here, the family of goldfinch is living in the thickness of this laburnum tree. And children, you know, no machine works without its engine. An engine is required if a machine has to start up. Therefore, the poet says, the laburnum tree and the goldfinch bird is the engine of her family. Because this tree was given a life by this goldfinch, and she gives life to her young ones also, because she enters the thickness of this tree to feed her young ones. Unless they are fed by their mother, they would not be able to survive. Therefore, this is the engine of her family. Here she has kept her young ones safe in the laburnum tree. So she provides food to her young ones and moves to the other branch end. When she finds that her purpose of coming to this branch or the tree is successfully done, she has achieved the motto of feeding her young ones, then she silently comes out of that thickness and first she sits again at the end of the branch. The poet says that she stalks it full. Stalks means to add fuel to the engine. and when she feeds her young ones fully, she flirts out to a branch end. Flirts out means lead on to. Then, after feeding the young ones, the goldfinch leads on to a branch end again. And here there is a beautiful explanation given by the poet. He says when she comes and sits the second time after feeding her young ones to the branch end, she shows her barred face identity mask. In this line, the poet Ted Hughes says that the goldfinch does not show the real expressions of her happiness as she has just met her young ones. As her young ones felt happy and excited to see their mother, similarly, the mother also felt happy to see her young ones inside the thickness of this laburnum tree. And she was also very happy after feeding her young ones, and she was happy to see her young ones were staying safe there. And those happy expressions of her face were masked by her very smartly, because she did not want others to show that she had something excited inside the thickness of the tree, so that in her absence anybody could enter or hurt her young ones. So this is the relationship of the mother, beautifully explained by the poet in these lines. Then with airy delicate whistle chirrup whispering, she launches away towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Here children, airy. Airy means weird and strange. Whistle chirrup means gentle whisper like the chirping of the bird. And subsides means diminishes. The poet tells that after reaching the end of the branch, the goldfinch bird makes a sweet, strange chirping sound, just like whispering, and then she flies away towards the infinite sky, endless sky. Why does she produce this sound? Children, here you need to understand. This sound she produces to give an indication to her young ones kept inside the thickness of the laburnum tree that they must be silent, because their mother is going to take her flight again. It was the direction for the children kept inside that their mother was moving towards the infinite sky, and there was no one to protect them from any enemy. This was the way to indicate the children of the goldfinch. Therefore, the poet says, before she launches away towards the infinite sky, to the endless sky, she produces a sweet chirping sound that was just like whispering, and she takes her another flight. After the goldfinch flies into the endless sky, the tree again becomes silent and death-like. This shows that children of the young ones of the goldfinch are also very obedient. After listening the chirrup sound of their mother that was produced in a whistling way, the young ones understand that now they don't have protection of their mother, therefore they become silent, and due to the silence of those young ones, the laburnum tree also becomes silent and death-like. Now there is no more sound audible, there is no more tremors felt, the laburnum top again becomes still and silent, as it was described by the poet in the beginning of the poem. So children, this is the complete poem which describes the caring attitude of the mother towards her young ones. And the poet describes this beautiful relationship of the mother and her young ones with the support and example of this laburnum tree. So children, this was the complete recapitulation of the poem The Laburnum Top, and now we will discuss textual questions given in your book. Question number 1 of this poem is, what do you notice about the beginning and the ending of the poem? So, you would have seen in the poem that at the beginning and at the ending of the poem, the laburnum top was standing still and silent, just like death-like. Right? So, this is what the poet Ted Hughes tells us in the poem, that in the beginning and at the ending of the poem, the common thing about the laburnum top was that it was standing still and there was no movement noticed by the poet, as there was no arrival of goldfinch. In the absence of the goldfinch bird, the laburnum tree was still and silent, as it was September yellow light afternoon time. So it was appearing all silent, with all its seeds that had already fallen down due to autumn season. So altogether the answer would be laburnum was silent and still, as there was no arrival or presence of the goldfinch bird. So now question number 2 is, to what is the bird's movement compared and what is the basis for the comparison? So children, this question is not difficult to answer for those who have listened to the explanation of the poem carefully. You would have listened there that the bird's movement is compared with the lizard in the poem by the poet Ted Hughes. And I told you in the literary devices as well that the poet has used the literary device that is called simile in this line of the poem, in which he says or compares the bird's movement with the lizard. Right? So two things are compared with as there, therefore it is told there is simile. So what will be the answer to be written for this question? The answer would be, the goldfinch movement is compared to that of the lizard because she was abrupt, sleek and alert. The same movements were observed when she arrived at the tree and moved to the thickness side of the branch to feed her young ones. Right? So what is the basis for the comparison? That the poet noticed the goldfinch also became sleek and alert, just like that of a lizard that was sleek, abrupt and alert. Therefore he says, this movement was observed when goldfinch arrived at the tree and moved to the thickness of it. She moved to the thickness side of the branch to feed her young ones, as it was only the goldfinch who knew that the young ones were kept safe inside the thickness of that laburnum tree. Question number 3 in your textbook is given, why is the image of the engine evoked by the poet? Children, while explaining the poem, I told you, no machine can run without its engine. So every machine needs an engine to work smoothly. Right? So there also the comparison was shown by the poet. So why is this image of the engine evoked by the poet Ted Hughes? As the engine is the source to run the machine, the bird is compared to the engine, as she is also the source of feeding and running her family smoothly. Just like the engine that is needed to run a machine smoothly. Right? Similarly, the goldfinch is compared to the engine, as she is the feeder of her family. So as a machine cannot work without an engine, her family cannot last long without her support or the food she comes to serve or feed her young ones, right? So therefore the Injun is evoked by the poet in order to compare the goldfinch with the Injun, as Injun is the source to run a machine, goldfinch is the source to run her family that was kept safe in the thickness of the laburnum tree. And also the laburnum tree can be compared to an Injun, as the family is safe in it. So these both can be compared to the Injun, the goldfinch, and the second is laburnum tree. Both can be compared with the Injun because both are the medium of keeping the family running. And now we will proceed to question number 4, that is, what do you like most about the poem? So children, if you have listened to the poem and its explanation carefully, that is up to you that what do you like the most about the poem. But as per my thinking, I must tell you the right answer. I like the comparison of the state of the tree before and after the goldfinch bird arrives, and it makes the death-like tree alive. The second important thing that I found in the poem is the love of a mother towards her young ones and the care she is taking of her young ones kept by her in the thickness of that laburnum top. After observing the scenario or the environment or the atmosphere around the tree, she enters the thickness silently so that no one else would come to know that there was somebody living inside the thickness of the tree. And after feeding her young ones, she comes out of the tree and she changes her facial expressions from happiness to sadness so that nobody would judge that the mother could possibly meet her young ones inside the thickness of the tree. Therefore, she hides the real expressions of her face, and after taking care of the children, she gives a whistle type chirrup to the children to indicate that they must be silent again because they had to stay now without their mother, right? So this is what I like the most, that the poet has described the condition of the tree before and after the goldfinch arrived at the tree. And the second important thing and most likely thing was the care of the mother for her young ones. These are the two things that you can write in this answer. And the last and question number 5 is, what does the phrase her barred face identity mask mean? Children, this phrase her barred face identity mask means that the bird's face became her identity and symbol of recognition. Therefore, after meeting her young ones inside the thickness of the laburnum tree, she hid her real expressions from happiness to sadness because she did not want anybody to hurt her children kept by her inside the thickness of the tree. Therefore, while sitting at the end of the branch after feeding her young ones, she changed her facial expressions. That was the identity mask, and she hid her real expressions of happiness that she had met her young ones, and she changed her expressions from happiness to sadness in order to pretend that there was no excitement, there was no happiness, as she did not want anybody know that there were her young ones inside the laburnum top's thickness. So this phrase means that the bird's face became her identity and the symbol of recognition, and she hid her real recognition as well as the identity in order to keep her young ones safe. So these are all the questions of this poem, The Laburnum Top, discussed by me. And children, I assure you that the solution of these discussed questions will be given on EdBark site as well. The complete answers of these questions will be given the next day of this lecture on EdQuark site, and from there you can match your answers, and by the time you are supposed to learn and write all these discussed textual questions in your Fair English notebook. So I repeat, you are supposed to learn and write all these discussed textual question answers in your Fair English notebook, and send me all those answers on my mail ID given under the homework on EdQuark site. Thank you. Have a nice day.